All right, we are back with the Fogdog and Basten podcast in person for the first time in probably 9 months?
9 or 10 months, yeah. It's been a while.
It's been a long time. Glad you came back.
It's good to be back.
You surprised me. You just showed up and I had no idea you were coming, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I just kind of thought, why not stop by Des Moines on my way back to Baltimore. Spent a few weeks in England and quick trip back to Des Moines. Obviously it's good to see all the boys and catch up and do an in-person podcast, but one of the biggest reasons why I needed to get back is because I've had 5 big suitcases in one of our teammates, Chris, in his studio apartment for the last 9 months. So finally I've got around to sorting them out. I'll be taking 3 checked bags back to Baltimore. So it's good to be back though. It's good to do an in-person podcast. It's been a long time since we've done one of these. So looking forward to it. Lots to catch up on.
Yeah, lots to catch up on. It's weird having this background again, being in this room. It's been such a long time, but
it is weird because it has been a long time, but now that we're doing it again, it kind of feels like I never left.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yep.
Been going on a few runs with the boys and stuff, and just walking around campus, it kind of feels like I haven't been away, but obviously it has been quite a long time. So but good to be back. How have things been going for you the last couple of weeks?
It's been pretty good. Just kind of training, getting ready for conference, which was just a few days ago. And conference is always one of those where obviously it's something that matters. I really want to get those conference victories and stuff, but also it's not one that I taper super heavy for, because obviously the most important meet is a couple weeks down the road. Well, a few days from now, honestly, but excited for that. It was a good momentum builder, honestly, overall. But yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So you went in, raced the mile, which had prelims and then a final the next day, and then in between the prelim and the final, a couple of hours after your prelim, you had the DMR, the distance medley relay. So I guess start off briefly with the mile heat. Pretty smooth sailing, would you say?
Yeah.
What did you run in the mile heat?
4:11, which for the prelim is pretty quick.
Yeah.
At least for the MVC prelim.
Yeah.
Because I think I went back and looked, your first year at Drake, you ran 4:30.
4:31, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. That was on a flat track, so it was worth probably 4:05.
Yeah. Yeah, at altitude as well.
Yeah. 3:55. Yeah, it was slow. 4:31, my first year at Drake. My mile prelim, but 4:11 is moving for a prelim. Yeah,
especially in a heat where we only had 13 guys that signed up for the prelim. So
signed up.
Signed up. So we literally had 10 people make the final, right? And so 13 people race the prelim. As long as you don't get destroyed, you make the final. So, I mean, it was just kind of, I don't know.
You got the job done.
Yeah, it was probably the most stress-free race I've ever had, mentally going into a meet in my entire life. It was
Were you still nervous? Do you still get nervous for a prelim like that?
Maybe once I get on the line.
Yeah.
Just those few seconds beforehand are always pretty nerve-wracking.
Yeah, almost no matter what. You know deep down that you're going to be fine, but it's kind of one of those things where it's who knows, anything could happen.
Yeah, I could fall or something.
Yeah. I think even with a fall, you probably still found yourself making the final. But anyway,
probably, a
couple hours after, DMR, it's kind of been the thing that Jay's been trying to get now for a few years. How did that end up?
The DMR is funny because every year Jay is mentally convinced that we're going to win it. Pretty much no matter what.
Yeah.
And we almost never do. I mean, that was the first time we really have.
Yeah. We were
third our first year. And then
third in 2020. And then I guess
I ran it last year, we were fourth though.
Yeah.
Fourth
I wasn't even in it. So.
Yeah. But
nice.
Jay always thinks we're gonna win it. Long story short, we never do, and this year we finally did. Which is kind of funny because we didn't run very fast. I don't think we were I mean, our first leg had a 2-second lead and ran 3:07, which is not super quick, but like, I mean, we got the job done. It was an interesting style race, I guess. I got the baton probably 2 or 3 seconds off the lead, and the UNI anchors left 4:18 guy, and so it was
all right.
Yeah, it was
worked
all
out.
right.
What did you actually run in the mile to close?
I think I was like 4:13, 4:14.
Okay. Yeah.
So nothing like crazy fast or anything, but
just kind of solid hit out. You did what you had to do to get the win.
Exactly.
Finally got it done. And then the next day, mile final. Is that working? Yeah, that looks fine.
Okay.
Yeah. We're recording on the iPhone mics. That looks like it's working.
Okay.
Yeah. Just keep it like that. That'll be good.
Next
day, you come back for the mile final. Another one where it's kind of like you know deep down you were the massive favourite, but nerves going into it, or a little bit more than the day before?
Yeah, definitely a little bit more than the day before, just because I had raced the prelim and then the DMR the night before, so I knew my legs wouldn't be quite at 100%. I mean, it wasn't. Neither one of them were, of course, an all-out effort, but running 2 mile races in one day and then coming back the next day to run another mile race, like, obviously you're not going to be 100%.
Yeah.
So going into it, I had more nerves than the previous day, but still not a ton, because I mean, I just knew that as long as I have an okay day, I'm going to get the job done.
Yeah.
And luckily I did, but I think with 200 to go, I was in second place.
Yeah.
And a Bradley guy had fallen with about 400 to go.
Oh, wow.
So he fell. He was trying to make his move up. I think he had the second fastest seat time as well. So he was like the guy that was gunning for me. He fell, was in last place, and then just sprinted.
Yeah,
from
I did
dead
see that
last to first with 200 to go. And then he faded probably with like 100 meters to go, which it's pretty expected if you fall and then make that huge move with adrenaline. Like usually your body's not going to like you for that. So then moved around in with like 100 to go and got the job done.
Nice. 4:13 was that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
With a reasonably fast finish.
Yeah, my last lap was 25 low. I think I let up with like 50 to go. I could have closed quicker, but save that for a few days from now.
That is a pretty quick finish, quicker than I thought it was. So that's good signs for going into nationals. And I was going to say, is there anything that happened notably with other conferences, or was it kind of just that big meet in Boston?
Kind of just the big meet in Boston, I guess. Like, I know Thomas Vannepen and, at least in the mile, Thomas Vannepen and Jesse Hunt had a duel, and Hunt got the best of him, actually.
I did see that.
Which was kind of surprising, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Vannepen has the same thing in his mind that I do, and he's just kind of almost probably looked past it a little bit. And
focused on next week, NCAAs. Because Jesse Hunt, was he even run this season? Maybe 357 or 58?
I think like 56 high.
Okay.
Like 56.8 or something.
Okay. Yeah. So he's missed out on indoor nationals, but he's in pretty decent form. But Van Oppen got beaten by him. So in Boston, we should mention it, the Washington boys went out there. Obviously, it was the last chance meet. My teammate Casey Comer had a good run in the first heat of the mile, 3:54.01. So, but he's probably a little bit mad that he didn't quite get under 3:54. But a really solid first heat that was. I think the pacer took it out a little bit hot, It was pretty quick. They were 54 through true 400, and then through 409 it was like 55 mid, I think.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then I think from there it was just trying to hold on. Casey split 155 through 809, and then 159 for his last 800. I think he was just trying to hang on for dear life. But
he if his last 200 would have been better, he would have ran something ridiculous. Yeah, because he was second at the Belle de Cooper tier, and man, it just looked like he was struggling in the last, in particular, the last 100 meters, really.
Yeah. But it's funny, there was a 1500 split there, and I think he was trying to get a good 1500 time for maybe for outdoor. And so he kind of had joked in the weeks leading up about like running hard to 1500 and then just like whatever that last 109 is, like whatever will be. And you know, if you have to do a death march on the way in and crawl it in, then if you've split a good 1500, then it's all worth it. But yeah, that looked like a painful way of running a 354 mile. Not that I've ever run 354, but yeah, that doesn't sound like a fun way of doing it.
Not even a little bit.
Heat 2, all of your friends for the next week were in there. So
yeah, I mean, the Washington guys, I think they went out there to, obviously they had a few guys that hadn't quite qualified yet from that first Washington meet, so they probably wanted to get those guys in, which they did. And then I'm sure they were also going for the NCAA record for their top end guys, which they didn't. And honestly, they weren't even remotely close. Yeah, it
was kind of a weird one, but I mean, it happens. I mean, I've definitely seen that the last few weeks. You can't be right at your peak for every race, but yeah, it was definitely a little bit surprising to see, because I was watching on the live stream and Wascombe was right up there early on, and then he kind of just started fading. Brian Fay ended up running 358. I think Wascombe was 356, but they did have, obviously those are still, you know, sub 4 miles, but I think they would have been hoping for a lot more. They did have a few good results there though. Luke Hauser, 352.
Luke Hauser, 352. Nathan Green, 53.
53. And then
Aaron Ahol.
Yeah.
He ran
355.
Yeah. And then they had another guy run 353.
Yeah.
So Washington had 7 guys after this that qualified in the mile for the NCAA championships. They're only scratched once. They're running 6 of those 7 in the mile in the NCAA.
Is it Lum who scratched the mile?
Yeah. Lum scratched for the 3K. But they have, so out of the 16 best milers in the nation, 6 of them will be from Washington at the NCAA championships, which is
pretty crazy.
Absolutely ridiculous.
There's going to be a lot of purple in the miles.
Yep.
I wonder if it will be 3 and 3 of them in each heat.
It will be if they serpentine it the same as last year.
So it probably will be. Yeah.
It probably will be. Yep.
That'll be interesting to see how it kind of plays out tactically. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a strong field. What did it take in the mile? Was it 355 high?
It was 356.1.
Okay, yeah. It's getting quicker. I honestly, after last year, I thought this year might calm down a little bit. But there's a few guys who, like, it kind of makes sense. Every year there'll be new people. But, like, there's more guys that I was surprised to see, because I hadn't heard of them before, who have come through than I expected there to be.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of, I think next year surely it won't be as quick, but who knows? Maybe it just keeps improving, and in another few years it will be 354 or something. But
gosh, I mean, how much better can it really get?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's pretty strong right now. But how are you feeling going in?
I'm feeling pretty good. Training's been going really well. Did some 800s yesterday. Felt pretty good. Honestly, like, just, it's like, I mean, not that this is like everything to me or to all of us, but like, this is why I came back, right? Like, for races like this, like the indoor championships, the outdoor championships, like, this is the entire season for me. So, body's feeling good at the right time. Like, we've purposely tapered our training now so that I would be feeling this way, and hopefully I can just stay healthy and just get it done. But like, going into nationals, the prelim lists aren't out yet, but all the entries are out, and you can figure out the prelims just based on how they've done it in previous years, figure out the heats. But just going into it, we're going to talk about each event, some of the guys in it, and then predict our top 3, just because
why not?
Yeah. Our predictions are always the most accurate because we are guys that have been in the field before, and we know more than everyone else.
Yeah, of course. Great introduction for us. Anyway, let's just dig in then. This is kind of tough because we've just got the notes here, but we don't want to forget anyone, but if we're going to go through our top 3, we might end up kind of forgetting some big names.
Yep.
And a couple of our predictions are quite kind of ballsy, so we are going to probably sound a little bit weird kind of talking this through, but
Yep.
let's just dig in. Who have you got for the 5K?
The 5K top 3. So in third place, I have Nico Young, who's been solid every single year. I think he's been second a few times.
Yeah.
And I don't have him breaking the hump just yet. And it's not because of anything he's done, but I think there are 2 guys that are just better than him, to be fair. In second, I have Alex Mayer, who's phenomenal in cross country and looks even better now. Won that first Basten invite when all the guys were in their peak cross country shape coming down for that taper. So Alex Mayer's got a lot of momentum, and I believe in him. And then winning it, Dylan Jacobs, which probably doesn't surprise anyone. I just think he's the best all-around distance runner in the country right now. Yeah, he'll get the job done.
He's in good shape. Is the 5K on the afternoon of the second day?
The first day.
Oh, it's the first day, and then the 3K is after?
Yep, so Jacobs will be fresh in the 5 and not fresh in the 3.
Okay. I was kind of thinking it was the other way around. So initially, I had Hicks for third in the 5K, and I know he's a little bit down the seed list, but I mean, obviously he's an incredibly good runner, and I think this kind of could be the time where he peaks for the indoor season. So I definitely wouldn't be surprised seeing him in the top 3. Nico Young at second, and then Kai Robinson for the win out of Australia.
I like the Kai Robinson pick.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, after last year coming second, but realizing now that Jacobs will be fresh for the 5K, I think almost keep that 3, but put Jacobs above it.
Yeah.
Almost. I think, I don't know, anything could happen, and there's so many other good guys in there. It's so hard to predict. But I think Kai and Jacobs, as in Kai Robinson and Jacobs, as well as so many others, could be having a really good battle up the front.
Oh, it's going to be a battle, honestly. I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I might have had Brian Fay in my top 3 had he chose to do it as well.
Yeah, but he's in the mile.
He chose to do the mile over the 5K, which is...
Is he also doing the 3K?
Fay?
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's going mile and 3K instead of the 5K.
Very interesting decision.
Yeah. Obviously, his last run in Boston wasn't probably what he was hoping for, but he has run 3:52 now, and then doing that and the 3K,
I mean, it makes sense. It's just not what I would have predicted.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. Anyway, moving on to the 3K. Who you got?
Yeah, so this is my boldest prediction of the whole weekend, but I think Foad is going to get the win. Foad Masoudi from Oklahoma State. I mean, he's just so good.
Yeah.
He's one of the best milers in the country. He's run a 249K. He's split
249, 1200 DMR.
1200, sorry.
Yeah.
And he split that. He handed off the baton right next to Joe Wascom. They handed it off side by side. Yeah. So if he can keep up with Joe Wascom in a mile and Wascom's in peak shape, and he can run 7:41, if he's there with 300 to go, who's going to beat him? Yeah,
because he can obviously close quite well.
He can close quite well. He's only earned the DMR beforehand, and I think he'll do the 1200 legs. He'll be pretty fresh. Yeah. Like fresher than most of the field, at least.
Kind of just spin the legs out the night before.
Yeah.
Quick little 248, 249, 1200, and then, go and win the 3K. Yeah.
So Foad is my pick to win, bold. And second place, also pretty bold, Sam Gilman from Air Force. You've raced him many times. The dude's just an aerobic tank. I think it's also going to help him that he goes to Air Force and this meets at altitude.
Yeah, true.
So I think he's going to really benefit from that. And I think he'll tire less from doing the 5K, 3K double than others will because he's used to being at altitude.
Is he in the 5K?
Or no, he scratched the 5K, didn't he?
Yeah.
Just to focus on the 3K.
Did he get a qualifier in the 5?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, yeah.
So double down on it now. Gilman's top 3 for sure.
Yeah.
And then I also like Ryan Shope, Oklahoma State all the way.
Yeah.
I just think these guys are peaking at the right time. They're super fit.
Yeah.
That DMR victory over Washington was incredible.
Yeah.
And Shope is the kind of guy that can run 352, 353, but also has just the aerobic ability. So perfect for a 3K. Yeah, that's my top 3.
Yeah, very nice. I've got Gilman in third. He had a great one a few weeks ago in Boston. The one where I had a pretty big shocker. But he's looking like he's in pretty good form. So I've got him coming through in third. Anas Asai, from South Carolina.
Yep.
Yeah. He is in really good shape. He's run 350 for the mile this season, 741 for the 3K. So he's gonna be hard to beat. And then Dylan Jacobs I had for the win in the 3K. And I'll stick with it. But, now knowing the schedule, I had it in my head that the 3K was first up. I think he could double. He could
actually win both. Yeah, honestly, he could.
Yeah. So I'll go with that. We do have to mention, like, there are, and I know I kind of said this before, that there's so many guys in there, like, people will probably be like, how could they be missed for a podium spot? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
we're not trying to offend anyone, but
that's just our predictions. And then
getting into the mile is more difficult because I'm in it. So
makes it tricky.
Of course, there's a 100% chance I'm going to predict myself to win this thing because, who wouldn't, right?
Yeah.
If you're in it, you're one of the guys that has a chance. Like, you're going to go with yourself, you're going to go with your gut. So I'm just going to kind of talk about guys that I am probably most nervous about going into it.
Yeah.
And guys that, like, in my head, I'm like, wow, like, I really back that guy. I back his ability to close, like, or he's just a great front runner, or, like, guys that, like, are in my mind going into the meet.
Yeah.
And I think a big name that I'm watching out for is obviously Anas Asai, who has run 350 at Boston, completely dropped the hell out of me. At Boston. Like, granted, it was a pretty bad day for me, but the fact that he dropped me by that much is always concerning, especially when nationals is at altitude.
Yeah.
So he's a guy that, in my mind, I know going in, I can't let him get away from me because he's not the kind of guy that comes back to the field once he gets away.
Yeah.
He's an Olympian, a 350 miler. He's
in form. That race also, though, like, that was a pure time trial pretty much. Yeah. And even though he ended up nearly getting the win from Amos Bartelsmeyer, I think he just got out leaned on the line. Like, he was actually a little bit off the pace watching it. He kind of got a little bit dropped and then got back on with like 400 to go. So I think, I don't know, the fact that he beat you there, obviously it's like, you didn't have an ideal lead up to that. You ran 354 still, which is still very solid. But it's a pure time trial, and you getting out right in the back and him being right up there, it's not going to play out like that at nationals. Yeah. He could beat you. Like, anything can happen.
Of course.
It's not going to be that kind of a race.
Yeah.
He's not going to have someone pacing it. He could try and make it fast. It's not going to be. It could end up being 350.
The thing is, if he wants it fast, he's going to have to be the one that makes it fast.
Yeah.
Because I think all these Washington guys are fine with the sit and kick.
Yeah. They all have pretty good finishes.
Maybe Vannepen and Spencer would want to make it quick. Mm-hmm. But again, like, I've raced Vannepen a few times and I've never, even when the race has been slow, I don't think he's been the one that likes to go out and really challenge and make it quick.
Yeah.
Because I think he knows that, hey, like, that's going to really burn my legs for the last whatever. So Asai is someone to worry about. I'm interested to see what he does strategically. Yeah. I think that's probably the biggest question mark going into it. And then bold claim here, but out of all the Washington guys, I'm the most nervous about Nathan Green.
Yeah. We were talking about this on our long run this morning. He is obviously, he's run 352. Like, no one now looks at him as like not being a really, really good runner, but he's probably not he definitely isn't like the guy you look out of Washington and go, he's their best guy.
I mean,
but
you definitely look at Wascom and say that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yep.
he's so consistent. It seems like he hadn't actually broken 4 before this indoor season, but he'd run like 3:37 or something for the 15. So, but he's been in really good shape this season, and he seems to get it right most of the time.
And he's the only miler on their roster that ran really well both times they lined up and went for it. Like he ran 3:52 and 3:53.
Yeah.
Whereas like the other guys had like 5 or 6 second disparities between their 2 races.
Hauser went from 3:55 to 3:52.
Yeah.
Lum was
fairly consistent as well.
Yeah, he was 3:53 and
3:53, I think.
Yeah.
Lum was consistent as well, but Lum isn't doing it, so not factoring him into that.
Wascom went from 51 to 56, and then Faye 52 to 58. So, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, and very interesting to see how like they end up handling it, because they've been in finals together before, outdoor last year. So it'll be interesting to see if they do kind of properly work together and try and. I don't know what they'll do. Make it quick, make it slow. Maybe they get to the front and try and make it slow and just control it. Who knows?
And the Washington guys are fun for me too to battle against, because I'm obviously a huge kicker. That's the way I've always run.
Yeah.
And the Washington guys are the only ones with kicks that they rival mine.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nathan Green has a huge close.
Yeah.
And obviously so does Joe Oscom when he's on his game. He did it and won the final outdoor last year. So I think they're kind of guys that I'm going to go in and mark up a little bit. Like, know where they are, because they're guys that I can outkick them in the last 200, I think.
Yeah.
But they're not guys that, if there's a 2-second gap there, I can't make that up. So,
definitely.
knowing where they are and, like, knowing how they run is going to be pretty important.
Yeah.
And I think there are 4 or 5 guys, realistically, that I think have a chance to win this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just to win this thing outright. And I think it's just going to be whoever runs the smartest race.
Yeah.
Because so many times, like last year, Mario, I mean, you could argue whether Mario was the best runner in that field at the time during that indoor final last year, but man, he just ran it so smart.
Yeah.
Like he ran right on the rail the whole way, didn't use any extra energy, was just perfect. So that's probably the biggest thing going into it. All right, so I guess moving on from the 35 Washington guys that we have in this mile, I guess that's kind of everything that, at least going in, that's on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I think getting from the prelim to the final is going to be very difficult. With the way the serpentine goes, because it'll likely be Asai, Hauser, Nathan Green, me, and then the Ronan Staggs from UCLA.
Oh yeah.
And then another Washington boy, and then Adam Spencer as well.
Wow.
We should all be in the same prelim.
That is quite a strong prelim.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
But so just getting to the final is going to be very difficult. So I don't want to sidestep that. I guess.
No, definitely. It's going to be a big job.
So
what do you think about going into it without, you don't have to give all your plans away, but you've kind of been known in the past to relax at the back, feel good, and then close hard. Are you going to try and stick with that, or do you think you'll kind of just see how it plays out?
Great question. I think it's really going to depend on whether my heat is first or second,
Mm-hmm.
what pace my heat goes out at, and then what the guys next to me do.
Yeah.
Because sometimes at Basten this happened. I lined up next to Vanapin, and then there was one guy on my outside too. I was hip 12.
Okay, yeah.
But right when the race started and the gun went off, they both elbowed me super hard. And so I'm not going to fight through that elbow and get to the front, because I don't think it's relevant.
Yeah.
It's relevant enough to fight through that in the first 100 meters of your race.
Yeah.
So a lot of it depends on what everyone else does too. But I really think, to summarize it up, it's just being as close to the front as you can possibly be while using as little energy as you could possibly use.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely. You know what I do find funny about running heats? Like, say if you were in heat 1 and you ran 420, like just randomly, like it was, say it was 420, like heat 2 would then know you win your heat in 420. So everyone has run slower than 420. Heat 2 then knows that they can get 6 guys through because it's top 4, and then 2 on time. All they have to do is go out and run sub 420 and 6 of them get through. What should happen in that situation is someone should take it on. But so often, when the situation is like that, it then gets so cagey because everyone's like, oh, I have to just be in the top 6. Like, just make sure I'm not in the bottom 2, that it goes slower. You know what I mean? And I know this is kind of random and it probably won't happen, but it's so weird how often it plays out like that. Like,
it's weird how often in that scenario, in any scenario, the first heat gets the 6 through. I feel like every time I've ever been to nationals, it's the first heat that
gets 6 through.
Which shouldn't happen because the second heat should be like, oh, all right, we only have to run this because 5th place in heat 1 ran this time. And it never happens.
No, it's it is weird, but I doubt you'll be running 420 in your heat anyway. But
maybe at altitude.
True.
That converts to like 4 flat, right?
Sub 4 probably. So you might as well go for a PR while you're there. You probably only have to run like 3:59 or something. And you get
Duncan,
6, 7, 8.
Duncan Hamilton ran a 4:03.
And it converted to 3:52.
Which is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Is he running the 3K?
He's in the 3K.
Okay.
There's a reason why he's not in the mile. But
he's a 3:52 guy. So
is he? But moving on from that, I guess talk about the 800 a little bit.
To be honest, I don't know much about the 800. I'm probably gonna have fairly similar views to whatever you come out with. I haven't actually really studied it at all, to be honest.
I don't know a ton about it either, but man, Carosa's good at the 800. And he's someone I race the mile all the time, so I talk to him quite a bit. I'm friends with him, so probably a little biased when I say that I think Carosa's going to run really well.
For anyone listening who doesn't know, that's Creighton Carosa from Texas. He's been in NCAA finals quite a few times. What did he come last year? Was he 6th, right behind you?
No, 7th.
7th?
Because Nick Dahl was 6th.
Oh, that's right.
And he was 7th in the mile. And I think it was an interesting decision for him to do the mile last year. I wouldn't have done that. Because I think he's just better at the 800.
He was one that we had down to scratch because I was hoping I'd get in and I needed every scratch possible. We had him down as a scratch for the mile and then he ended up doing it, but it worked out anyway. But
so Carosa, I think Carosa will be in the top 3 for sure. And then I think that Sam Austin, I think his name is. From Florida. He'll be in the top 3 for sure. Just the way he's running. And then I think the 3rd spot is interesting. I think Yusuf Bismana. There's a good chance he's in the top 3. And then I think even someone like Jason Gomez, from Iowa State, who is the testament of inconsistency. But when he's on his game, man, he's hard to beat. Really hard to beat.
What's he run this season?
146. Like the rest of the field. They've all
pretty much everyone is 146, isn't it? 147.
I think there's 2 guys that are 147.
Wow. So it's quick.
But
really quick.
Jason Gomez is interesting because Jason Gomez will sometimes go out there and run 155. And then sometimes he'll go out there and just blow you away. Win the race. So if Gomez is on his game, watch out. But
I'll be watching out.
But there will be 4 or 5 guys probably that I think have a chance to win the 800. I'm excited to watch it because I just don't, like you, I don't know a ton about the 800. But
altitude probably won't play into that quite as much.
No. I think you only get a second or 2 from altitude. But
what altitude is Albuquerque at?
5-ish thousand feet. Just
so
under.
Will make a difference.
But I think you get 6 seconds in the mile. At Albuquerque, which is nuts. So literally, I could run 4 flat and run a mile PB.
PR, PB, It could happen actually. That could happen. In the final, I wouldn't be surprised to see it go sub 4. For sure. I mean,
just
with how finals have been going recently, it could be quick. Even last year, the outdoor final being won in 3:45, I think. it's like it's tactical, but you know it could well be under 4 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised.
I feel like the finals are usually like the race is pretty tactical for the first like 800 meters.
Yeah.
And then the guys that don't have kicks are like, oh crap. Like,
we got to make a move.
Yeah, we go.
Yeah.
And so then like we end up running our last 800 in like close to 150.
Yeah.
Like it just turns into like a jog into an all out 800.
Yeah. So it ends up being reasonably fast anyway. Yeah. Because 3:45 is like tactical, but it's not like 3:50 at the Olympics when Centro won. That was just like a final 400 race.
Yeah.
Even 300, it was like still. Yeah.
Didn't Centro close in 50?
50, yeah. 50 flat. So,
jeez.
Yeah, pretty impressive. But,
wow.
Honestly, I would have liked to have seen you in that 2016 Olympic final.
When I was 16.
Would you? Yeah. Would you, maybe if they ran it like now as an exhibition and everyone who was in it is in like the same form they were.
Yeah.
Don't know how that would be possible.
Yeah,
but
we
they'd
had
have
a
to
chance.
like computer generate them, like genetically modify some people in the lab. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Maybe we could make that happen at Drake, and then I'll come back and watch it.
Then we wouldn't have to see as many Centro as Instagram comments.
Yeah. He's on the comeback. He just ran 4:06 down under in Australia. So
didn't he lose to his 16-year-old?
Yeah, 16-year-old Cam Myers, 3:55. Wow. Yeah,
that's insane.
To be fair, saying he lost to a 16-year-old is like, that's pretty poor. But the 16-year-old in beating Centro broke the world record for his age group and ran his first sub 4 minute mile at 3:55. So
Centris didn't just lose to a 16-year-old. He lost to a 16-year-old by 11 seconds.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's some going.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of all we wanted to talk about. I think we'll obviously talk about more once the races actually play out, but that's kind of all the insight we have, at least in the mile, and all the knowledge we have over the other events. Again, we're not super genius level when it comes to
definitely not. Yeah,
I feel like events, but we're both we've been pure milers in the NCAA for such a long time. So
that'd be good. It'd be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, see how right we are. Figure out like a point system to see who does better.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see if those bold predictions end up coming true. And I haven't really made a prediction for the mile because I feel like that'd be weird with you being right here. Don't want to like put pressure on you, and as well just having you for the win. It would just seem like the obvious thing to do. So I don't know. I think you've got a very realistic chance of winning, but I think you just go into it like you do for any other race and treat it like any other race. Strong field, but that's kind of never scared you away before. So it'll be good.
Yeah, let's get it.
If anyone's got any questions, as ever, just pop them in the YouTube comments. We'll get to them in the next episode, which will be on Zoom again. I'm just in Des Moines, back at Drake for 5 days. Just a quick little trip and then back to the East Coast. So
awesome. Yeah, so stay tuned. Obviously watch Nationals and cheer for me. Let's go.
Yeah. Good luck, Basten. Thanks for listening, everyone.